Hero calling is something that's interesting because I am known to be a bit of a calling station. I don't like floating too much on rivers.
When you're in the spot where you're, considering a hero call, there are so many things going through your head in that moment. Maybe you're replaying the hand, trying to narrow his range based on different things that happened in the hand. But it can be tempting to just want to see, and sometimes you call because you want to see.
If you're contemplating a hero call or even a hero fold, try to not get it personal. Just focus on your fundamentals, try to make the best decision.
I think there are a couple questions you can ask yourself when considering to hero call. So, first question, is it possible that my opponent is value betting worse? Because if the answer is yes, you can already call profitably regardless of anything else. If the answer is no, then you should ask yourself, is this spot overbluffed or underbluffed?
When I'm contemplating a big hero call on the river, the main thing I want to consider is, do I block any of my opponent's value hands? Obviously, if I've got a really, really strong hand and I beat my opponent's value range, or maybe the bottom of my opponent's value range, I will always mostly call, because you're going to win a lot of money making those calls. But if you're looking for really a hero call, you have like fourth pair, you want to block, maybe your fourth pair blocks some of your opponent's sets that you can potentially have. But in some situations, that might not be the case because he may have been the aggressor before the flop, and your bottom pair may not relevantly block the value hands that your opponent's representing.
So hero calls are a little different online and live, I feel. Live, you've got the extra information of live tells if you're good at that sort of thing. Online, you typically just want to be playing by the numbers, by the math. So you want to block the nuts. You want them to have lots of hands that would want to bluff and are stuck bluffing, or you want evidence that this particular player bluffs too much in this particular situation.
It comes down to the player and his tendencies or her tendencies, and then if his or her line doesn't make sense. If there's something that doesn't make sense, and it's in my head, it's like, hey, that doesn't make any sense. I lean towards a call than a fold.
So you have to make sure that you have something that, not only doesn't lose to your opponent's bluffs, you don't want to be that much of a hero, but also, can block his value when he's putting you to the test.
For a call to be profitable, you should be winning around 30% of the time because in tournaments, the pots are never going to be as big on the river that the guy's going to jam 3 times pot, right? So when you start getting more technical about the game, then you understand that if you call here and you win 30% of the time, it's still going to be a profitable call.
Especially if you're calling with queen high or something, it can be like a really exciting moment to be right in those moments. But you have to realize it's not about being right, it's about being consistent, and you have to sort of put your ego to the side.